You are now watching the Movie Juice Podcast.
The juice is loose.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Movie Juice Podcast.
Movie juice, movie juice, movie juice, movie juice, movie juice, movie juice, movie juice.
Juice the movie!
Soundboard's also not working. I got the laptop fixed.
Yeah, right.
Soundboard
But now there's
decided to
another
take a
problem.
Well, we are broke,
We can't all be
shit.
winners.
Yeah, we can't all be winners.
especially not me.
That's true.
I've been taking L's all week, fellas. Except for today.
Oh yeah.
Called a dub.
Sometimes we get wins. Sometimes we get wins. Almost said wieners.
Sometimes life's worth it. Kyle Dean 2020. But also sometimes we do get wieners. And we have to live with that.
I can't
Hey,
relate.
man, glizzies are great.
Oh, true.
Y'all ever?
So we're talking about penises. Get your mind out of the
Hey,
gutter. We
man.
had this problem last week.
Broken clock is right twice a day.
I love that
Hey,
saying.
man, you guys ever had a hot dog at the movie theaters?
No.
No.
Well, what? Have I? I don't think so.
I know they used to be Eisenberg hot dogs, but now
I've
they're
never
like,
heard of that a day in my life.
That's back when it was the old Carmike.
Oh.
AMC, it's like a different brand.
They were big hot dogs, I remember,
They
but
were
I
thick
didn't.
and juicy.
I don't know what in Eisenhower.
I feel like I had a couple glizzies back in the day whenever I was working there still, and we would have like the
Yeah.
different kinds of glizzies.
I never had one during a movie, but when I worked there, I did have a couple on a shift.
Yes.
Because
I don't
I was at the leftover ones because Ethan would let me have them.
think Ethan's a good guy.
I'm like, can I have these? I was like, I don't know.
Shouts out Ergab Virus.
Yeah,
Dude.
Virus, please come to July 4th if you're listening to this.
We love you.
Please,
Truly.
please get back to us because you've left
He
me on red
texted
twice.
me back, remember?
It must be nice.
Anyway.
I love you. Anyway,
So today we went and saw
In a Violent Nature.
In a Violent Nature.
And boy, was it violent.
super violent. Super violent, but
Spoiler alert for In a Violent Nature if you haven't seen it yet. Right off the bat, real quick, I just want to ask, like one by one, would you recommend people go check this out in theaters?
Oh, sorry, I was taking a sip of
You're
water.
good, my bad. I just started looking at you first.
Dylan, you go ahead and go first.
I would recommend it. Like, it was fun. It was cheeky. It was
Cheeky. It was, yeah.
it was a fun horror movie.
Oh, well,
Or like, I like the POV of it.
yeah. Until I didn't. But
Yeah, and there were some parts that was kind of slow. But if you want like a nice short horror movie, go for it.
short was always good for sure. So that's a recommendation from Dylan. James?
It depends on the kind of horror movie you like. To me, it was very much a love letter to Friday the 13th.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I could definitely see
1,000,000%. Like, to a T, almost.
Yeah.
So I think if you really like schlocky 80s horror with a new twist to an extent, the new twist only being that it is new.
that.
Honestly, it reminded me a lot of like the Friday the 13th remake from 2009,
yeah.
where it was like same fucking what's the word I'm looking for?
Vibe?
Similar, yeah, same vibe. You know, like the same story with a modern spin. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A modern spin. But I enjoyed it for the most part. There's a lot of slow parts, but I think that it was good all in all, and I would recommend it if you like those kinds of horror movies.
Hell yeah. I definitely would say, like, for the slow parts that there is, the fact that the movie's so short helps with that. So, like, I would definitely recommend it for sure. Even if you just like slashers in general, it's not like your typical slasher, but you do get some good kills. But I would definitely strong recommend for sure.
So I guess we'll get into the actual movie now. And also, I know this is only our second episode, but there's going to be spoilers. Every episode.
Yeah, we're
This is the
working on a clip that we'll play at the beginning of each. When we talk about the movie,
The
but we just don't have it yet, so that's why at least we remembered this time to tell you spoilers.
The synopsis is not spoiler free. We will tell you every twist.
It's true.
Oh
And every
God,
time.
yeah.
And I actually
Yeah.
took notes this time, so I'm going to be reading.
Yeah, I'm excited to see
I'm
that.
going to be reading
I watched you do it.
those.
Yeah.
Our editor this week did not upload it because it was the first upload. I uploaded it for us.
Okay, word.
I did put a spoiler in the description.
I did see that. Yeah.
Jeff been helping out, though.
Yeah, oh, he edited everything.
And we're sorry we forgot to add socials as well. We haven't worked that out yet. But
Yeah.
we should hopefully have it in this episode, if not the
Yeah.
next one.
Yeah, that's on me. I kind of forgot to ask.
Yeah. We'll figure that out. Within this episode or the next episode. Because
Hey,
behind the scenes, we're filming 2 today.
Hey man, we're
Hey,
on
don't tell them
episode
that.
2. We'll get all of this figured out by at least episode 10.
Yeah. Maybe 69 episodes.
Dude, we're gonna have something special planned for episode 69. You guys best believe that.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yes.
episode 420. If we're
And
making
episode
that far.
420. We're gonna get there.
We're gonna get there. Fuck yeah.
All right, so I guess we need to dive into the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
So this
So
movie
we open on Camp Crystal Lake.
So this,
Just kidding.
this movie.
Pretty much.
It's a version of it, not in the actual movie, but it's definitely some sort of lakeside property.
Yeah, it's in the woods.
Yeah,
You find out there's a lake for sure,
it's true.
or a river, something.
It's a body of water.
Yeah. The movie, honestly, like it sets the tone immediately because it starts off and you're looking at what to me I thought was a tree at first,
Same.
I didn't realize
like
it was a pipe.
or something. Yeah,
and
because it's blurry because it's focused on there's like a wall of some sort of structure that it's focusing on, but the focus slowly starts to shift to that pipe. The more the focus goes to the pipe, you realize, oh, it's the pipe. But like, that's a lot of things too with this movie. Like, there's a lot of good use of foreground and background
I
that
agree.
I loved.
I agree.
I agree.
There was one in particular that I noticed that they ended up circling back to a little bit also later on.
Oh, speaking of circling, we'll get there.
Oh shit!
Oh, my
So anyway,
God.
they start the movie off on that shot, and they sit on that shot for fucking ever.
And that they're just like
Yeah.
setting you up because there are a lot of shots
That
that
they-
we alluded to at the beginning where like we just kind of hold on there, and it's sometimes it can get a little grating because there's not a lot going on.
Yeah, for sure.
But then other times they're like the skylines and like the views of what's in the shot are compelling. It's just I think we linger on them a little too long sometimes.
I think the scenery in the movie, I wanted to touch
Agreed.
on that, was
Yeah.
great. On some of the parts, like it's very much a walking simulator.
Yeah, for sure.
I put that in my notes multiple times because there are an egregious amount of shots of you just following the killer.
And sometimes it's so dark you don't even realize the killer's in the shot because you can see lights off in the distance of where he's heading, but you can't even see him walking. But you hear his feet rustling, but you
it's-
can't even see him walking.
It's cool that at times they'll do, or a lot of times they would use like cuts to represent like the passage of time.
Yeah.
Because you're literally just watching this motherfucker walk for probably
A good,
a third of the movie.
probably
Yeah.
a good third of the movie.
Maybe a
Because
quarter.
you can tell, like from the cuts I remember, it's over the course of like 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, it's at least 2.
Yeah.
So, anyway, they start off on this panning shot of this pipe, and you hear people talking in the background.
I thought that was a really good use of that. They do that a lot throughout the whole movie,
yeah.
where even though we're focusing on the killer's point of view, we can still hear them talking. And like sometimes I don't know if it's diegetic or not, because like I don't know if because of spoilers for later of what kind of entity he is. I don't know if he just has that good of hearing, or if they're just talking that loud. I always thought that was a little weird sometimes, but like I enjoyed that even though we're focusing on the killer, we could hear the other people's dialogue,
I think
which
that,
gave us plot.
I think that later on they allude to him having some kind of super hearing.
Gotcha.
I really do, and I'll bring it up once we get there.
Right.
I think that, but anyway, sorry. The pipe, and then you hear the people talking, and then you hear them mention something about like some kind of legend, and then one of the dudes, they're all talking about, because there's this necklace on the pipe, and one of the dudes is like, oh man, don't grab it, because you hear him say like something so and so, but it's so early in the movie you really don't know what's going on. You haven't gotten much of a chance to digest the scenery. You definitely haven't gotten any background given to you yet. But they mention some type of legend, and then you hear them all start to walk away, and one of them stays back, and you hear them ask the friend, like, because I honestly, the characters in this movie, other than the killer, and even him, not so much, none of them are memorable.
At all.
Like,
No,
you can
not at
tell
all.
that every single character, except for arguably the final girl, but I can't remember her name,
Same.
is
Same.
fucking just fodder for the killer.
Yeah.
Like, we are here to watch this dude maim people.
Honestly,
That's exactly what happens.
they said one person's name, and I thought they said Dirk. And whenever I was looking at the credits, there was not a single character named Dirk.
I know there was someone named Troy.
Troy.
Yeah,
I remember Troy. So, but long story short, at the beginning, someone takes this necklace.
Because when you were saying about them talking, one of them was talking about how like we shouldn't or whatever, and then that's when he like makes up a reason to stay behind for a second, and he takes the necklace anyway, kind of like to make sure his friends don't know that he took it, but like they don't even know the legend yet, so they don't even know what they've done yet. But like I like that where like he was like, no, don't do that. But then they leave, but then he stays behind and grabs it.
Yeah.
There was another character in there named Evan, I believe.
Okay. Evan and Troy. We've got two of them.
You could say any name, and I'd probably say you were right.
Me too.
Because that's how unforgettable these.
Spoiler alert, I think Evan was the first one to go.
That's how unforgettable.
No, his
these
name was
names
Aaron.
Aaron. Okay.
I wrote his name down
Okay.
because of his kill. His kill's pretty cool.
are. But there are better ones.
But
also, he's definitely a James.
Much better ones.
Because when they were, well, no, okay, never mind. We'll get there. Never mind. But
So
he kind of was.
and then they stay on the pipe, and that's whenever I realized, like, holy shit, we're in for a lot of fucking steady shots.
Yeah.
because like you notice it's breathing.
Well,
It took me a while to notice that actually.
as I'm
which
sitting
is
there,
nice.
like I seriously remember I thought, wow, they've stayed on the shot for a long time, and then I was like,
Yeah.
well, maybe it hasn't been that long, and then I ended up thinking it again, like, oh no, they definitely have stayed on this for a long time.
Because I assumed that was just there so we could hear their dialogue.
Right.
But then throughout the movie, they do that shot more often. We're like, no, okay, that's just a stylistic
Well,
choice.
honestly, man, there's times where they walk away, or they've walked away, and you're still just sitting on that before it really starts to fucking move.
Yeah.
You're just waiting for something to happen, because there's that little mirror thing in the back, and that's what I was looking at first. Like, I was like, something's going to pop up in the background.
Yeah.
But no, it's just literally, like you said, foreground, and then it starts fucking moving, and then it cuts to the top view of it, and you see the pipe come out of the ground, and then the ground's moving.
And that's when I remember that shot because like the ground was like breathing, and that was really cool. I
That
liked
was cool.
Shot.
There was a lot of cool shots in this movie.
Oh,
Honestly, there really was. Like, you can tell it's very much like an artistic pursuit to an extent, which is fine. And I think they did a good job pulling those parts off.
Before we get further into the movie, I want to give a shout out to Shudder for like this is the first Shudder movie I've seen where they only had just two producer tags or whatever they're called for movies at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'll give them credit there. Cause
I don't know what to call them either, but I know what you mean. Like the production company's logos. That, like Monkey Paw is what's his face is where like it was not for this movie, but where he's like he's stirring the tea. Or that other one we saw where like a bunch of random shit happens with like claymation.
So, like, I'll definitely give them credit. There was only two. Because I remember the last Shudder movie I saw was Late Night with the Devil, and they had like 7.
Yeah, man, I thought that was cool too. Like, I noticed IFC Films, which I don't think I really noticed anything from them for a while.
The IFC films are always sad because me and Dylan watched one once, and like it was a random week where somehow we watched like 3 IFC films that week, and each one of them like progressively got sadder. And I'm like, hey, IFC does a lot of sad movies.
The two I remember by name was Paint and the D Train.
Yeah.
Paint had Owen Wilson in it, and D Train had Jack Black in it.
Paint's that the Bob Ross movie, right?
But he's not actually Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's very,
weird.
very loosely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the only inspiration they took was just the look.
Yeah.
Word, okay. So, dude comes up, bald guy, don't see his face. You can tell he's fucked up, though, because you see the back of his head, and it's all scarred and bloody looking. And
Very, very Jason Voorhees-esque.
this is very much so. And this is whenever it immediately becomes a walking simulator.
Yeah.
Because we follow this fucking dude walking through the woods.
For at least 5 minutes, maybe. No,
Yeah, and-
maybe like 3.
Well, it's a couple minutes, and then he stumbles upon, like, the dog.
Yep.
And
It's caught in a bear trap.
Yep. And then he sees, like, a motion sensor, and then he sees those pink tags for a property line.
Yeah.
Which I'm wondering if that's them talking about, like, can he only go a certain distance or something?
See, I thought that too because there was that thing on the tree that looked like almost like a dog shock collar.
Yeah.
But like I thought maybe that was like a sensor to know if someone was walking.
Well, that's what
towards
I
it.
thought,
I
too.
don't know.
I thought it was like a sensor or...
Well, it might have been the bear traps. Maybe he didn't set those up.
What do you mean?
Well, because, with the dog caught in the bear traps, and maybe the property line's where all the bear traps are.
Yeah, maybe.
So maybe because we get to a guy later who's getting yelled at by the park ranger for setting out bear traps in territories where people like go and play and stuff. And I think that might have something to do with it. With like maybe that's why he's setting the bear traps up, but he can't tell the park ranger that or something. I don't know, or vice versa. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to Killer walking again, essentially. And then he walks up on the guy getting yelled at with the bear traps.
Right.
And basically just walks up and lets himself in that dude's house.
Yeah, because they're arguing. They don't realize he goes inside when the park ranger leaves, and but then like right as the killer's walking in, we see the guy who owns the house walk out of the other door and come around the corner. So we know he's not in the house.
Yeah.
When the killer walks in.
And the killer walks in, and he just kind of like stands there, and then looks at himself in the mirror, and then you get this flashback in the mirror of his father giving him a necklace, and it's the necklace that you saw on the pipe. And he tells him this is his mother's necklace, and essentially says, like, it's always going to be with you. Like, as long as you have this, like, you'll be safe, or she'll be with you, something like that. And that was whenever I immediately made the connection to fucking Friday the 13th.
Right.
Like, I was already kind of thinking it with, like, it being in nature and the bald dude, but that was really just what sealed the deal. Like, okay.
Mommy issues and a serial killer. You'll never not think Friday the 13th.
You'll never not think Jason. And there's even more things later that are just exactly like a Friday the 13th sequel with Jason Voorhees. So,
but I want to mention the cool shot because like it's like he's looking. We get a shot from the mirror where you kind of see half of his body but not his face, and he's looking at the mirror, and then like in the mirror it becomes like a cloud of a memory, and that's when you see the dad talking about the necklace. And I thought that shot was really cool.
I did think that shot was cool
because then the smoke kind of it kind of evaporates in the mirror, and then he notices in the mirror of a pendant that we're supposed to think is the mother's pendant. And he goes around and turns. But it's a really cool shot because in there you see it kind of glistening in the sun. And then that's when he turns around.
And he starts to grab it, and then the owner of the house comes in, and I think he misfires his gun like on accident because you kind of hear him like bitching about something.
Yep.
Like because he doesn't know who's in his house.
Right.
He thinks it's the park ranger. He's like, "You son of a bitch!"
Because he like shoots through the wall and it goes through the wall. But then like he still, but as he's reloading his gun, the killer starts to go towards him and he's yelling about the park ranger. So I think he doesn't know it's him yet.
Yeah.
Until he gets like right in front of him.
And then he's like, "What the fuck are you? Who are you?" And he starts running out. And this
was kind of comical because but maybe with the end of the movie in my head, I'm thinking maybe he knows that's the guy.
Maybe.
But like he freaks out way more than one person should. Like I later on we see this killer's face, and I get why you'd be freaked out, but not to this guy's level of freak out.
He had the most cartoonish run.
Yeah, when he runs out of the he's like,
did.
Oh, and then he'll like run a little bit and turn around. Oh, and then he'll run a little bit more, and then he just like.
He may have not been a paid actor.
They might have just invaded this guy's home.
Well, they really used most of their budget on the fucking gore.
They did, yeah.
The gore and the shots.
It might have been like the cleanup guy, and they're like, "Hey, you just want to just be in this movie real quick?"
And he was like, "Yeah, dude, sure." And the guy, and he just like stops at some random car.
Like his scream reminded me of like Trolls 2, and he was like, "Oh, they're eating her, then they're gonna eat me."
No,
Stay back. Reminded me of.
That's exactly what it was like.
And stops at a random car. Killer walks slowly behind him. No, he gets caught by. Does he get caught by a bear trap?
Yeah, because I saw it coming. The second he starts walking through the woods, and he keeps tripping on like he's gonna get caught in his own bear trap as like, his hubris because of the park ranger, like he's gonna get caught in one of his own bear traps.
Damn, son, hubris was a good word. That was a great word to use right there.
Because like ever since they talked about it and they started running through the woods, I'm like, he's gonna get caught in his own bear trap. It's because there's no, because he was running so fast. I'm like, there's no way he's not gonna get away unless he gets caught in a bear trap.
Yeah,
caught in a bear trap.
And then you just kind of see the killer. you just see the killer like take his hand.
I'm sorry.
I understand that reference. Dude, he had some big ass fucking hands.
He did have some big ass hands.
Dude. That was when I noticed it too. I was like, Jesus Christ.
That was a big motherfucker that played that dude.
There's something else that'll come up later where we'll talk about his hands again, because when he did what he did with his hands, I'm like, his hands are fucking meaty.
Yeah,
they were massive.
But like I love this shot too, where we cut to his hand reaching for this guy's fucking head, and then we just cut to him going to reach for the necklace. Like it's a quick cut, and he's going for the necklace. His hand is bloody as fuck.
Oh, now is the time when I would like to read some of my notes.
Oh, fuck yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
this is about the time I realized you were taking notes.
I put, first kill guy has a hat that says, #1 motherfucker.
I did love that.
I was like, dude, that's such an awesome hat.
I didn't read it till he was about to get killed, and I was like, that fucking hat says #1 motherfucker.
And I wanted to bring that up because whenever they cut to him grabbing the pendant also says #1 motherfucker.
Yeah, because I didn't realize that at first, because when that happened and he didn't grab the necklace, I'm like, why is he not taking the necklace? It wasn't until later I realized that was he's so focused on it that wasn't the right necklace, because I couldn't read it.
Yeah.
So, like, it wasn't until later when he was getting the necklace from somewhere else where I'm like, oh, that wasn't the right necklace. That caught me off guard too because I was so confused by that.
So essentially, the guy dies for nothing.
Yeah.
But you kind of go to.
But he kind of deserved it.
Well, you also kind of go on to find out that their reasoning for him getting killed and
Yeah.
stuff. Then he realizes it's not that, so the motherfucker immediately goes back to Walking Simulator. And this is whenever they start doing the cuts to later in the day. And then.
Where, like, you can tell the sun's kind of slowly starting to go down, but not quite.
And he sees the car go by. So he
Yep.
starts kind of following, like, the sound
And,
of
like,
it.
the kids are, like, screaming out the window.
Yeah.
So, you know it's kind of like a Jason Voorhees
Yeah, you have your group,
teenagers.
your group of
at a
stupid,
camp
horny
or whatever,
teenagers.
Or a lake or something.
He's gonna go kill him. Like, you mean, and that was another exact parallel to a Friday. I'm thinking like part 3.
Yeah.
You know, like literally just almost
We watched them getting to the place they're trying to get
the
to
exact
while
same
we're with the killer.
beats.
PSA: if you're a horny teenager, maybe don't go to the woods.
Fuck in your own homes.
If you find yourself in a horror movie, bro, you don't smoke.
Why can't we just get in the running car? Let's hide behind the chainsaws. Are you crazy?
I already said that reference.
That's
So-
what we should get a sound clip of.
Yeah.
For sure. Understood the reference.
Yeah, we are gonna
Because
talk
we're
about,
going to reference a lot of fucking movies.
and we're gonna talk about a lot of horror movies too.
It's true.
So.
Horror is like one of our favorite genres.
Especially for Spooktober.
Oh,
in
yeah.
October.
Hell yeah, dude! I'm
There's a
very
lot of good ones
excited for
coming
that.
out this year too.
Very
Oh, yeah.
excited for that.
This was a good like pre-summer one too.
I think so, too.
Because of the
Setting and
the
everything?
influences
Oh,
of
yeah.
Friday the 13th as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
So then we cut to a campfire. Well, not really cut. But he walks
No,
up
but yeah.
onto their campfire. They're like
Right.
shooting off fireworks or something, or shooting a gun.
I thought it was a gun, but I'm
Maybe
not
it
sure.
was a gun because later we see a gun. It must have been him shooting a gun. Because she makes that.
Yeah,
She
okay,
says that
yeah.
about like, oh man, we get it. You guys don't have to prove anymore that y'all have big dicks or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like him
Yeah.
shooting that rifle off,
Right.
and then they immediately go into another Friday the 13th beat.
Yeah.
Fucking campfire, circling around, but circling around way too much.
I literally I didn't take notes, but I remember this very vividly. I looked to Dylan and I said, "Is anyone else getting dizzy?" Because it circled around this fucking campfire like it was a fucking that 70s fucking bake
Dude,
circle.
that's-
I
I
feel
was
like
thinking that
Christ.
it was like they watched that '70s show and he was like, "Yeah, let's do that, but like not nearly as well."
Let's do it from the outside of the circle,
Yeah.
not the inside of the circle.
And then just keep circling.
Yeah.
And don't
As
stop.
this guy's telling this whole story that I'm gonna let the guy who took notes tell, but like
I felt bad for the cameraman.
same. Oh my god! I bet he was probably about to throw up.
I think it was almost supposed to be a fake out because I feel like I was looking in the background and I did not see the guy once.
Not in the circle.
Not in the
part,
circle. Not in the circle.
but later. Yeah,
Later,
But,
yes. So they tell the story of
yeah, this kid who we find out later has been through a lot, quote unquote. But they get to that a little later too of the explanation. But he's been through a lot, and he's like it's kind of like he needs this trip to feel better, and he starts telling the story,
So the story is it's this kid named Johnny, who,
which we know about because the flashback with his dad calling him Johnny. So we know the story he's telling is supposed to be our quote unquote killer.
yes, not quote unquote, bro. The motherfucker already killed somebody.
It was off screen. So
Number one, motherfucker.
he killed the number one motherfucker
That's crazy.
with a trucker hat.
With a trucker hat. So he's this kid, and he would play with toys around his dad's work site. His
Yep.
dad owned like a lumberyard, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
They mentioned that one of the workers got hurt tripping on his toys because they mentioned how much Johnny loved toys.
Yeah.
And he left his toys around the work site. Somebody tripped, hurt themselves, had to go out of work.
For like at least 6 months.
And it
or
was
something.
for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they said 6 months exactly.
Which I mean, honestly, with my line of work, if that happened to me too, I'd probably hold a grudge too. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's fucking.
Same.
Yeah.
Especially in
So
this economy.
they hold.
Because they're not going to pay my fucking bills.
Oh, God.
So they hold this kid like basically, what's the word? They hold him accountable for this, even though
Right.
he's. And I think they even alluded like this kid's like special.
Yeah, because the guy who's telling the story, he keeps not wanting to use. He wants to not use politically incorrect
terms.
terms, so he keeps trying to avoid it. But all of course, all his asshole friends are like, "Just say it, bro."
Just say it, bro.
And he's like, "No." He was like, because at first he says this kid was slow, and they're like, "Oh, he was slow, like he lost a race."
Yeah, like he couldn't run
Like
fast enough.
they're trying to like goad it out of him, and he's like, "Dude, stop! I'm not trying to." I'm just saying that he needed more care than most other kids needed.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that and then right there is a good point for this first guy telling the story. You can tell he's not in with these guys as much as all these other guys are with each other.
He's the outcast of the group.
Yeah.
He's very much like your
Meg Griffin.
Yes, perfect.
Like this, he's the stoner guy from A Cabin in the Woods,
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
but like they don't like him.
but they don't like him. But so they keep telling the story. You find out that whenever the worker came back from his leave or whatever, from having his ankle, I'm pretty sure it's the worker. They get this kid to go to
The roof.
It's an old water tower.
Yeah, it's fire tower.
Right.
Like I think it's like for the woods. I know Grace has played that game on Xbox all the time. Firewatch. It's like the same thing. Where like I think it's a tower for like you're able to like keep an eye out for forest fires.
She
But they
restarted it again.
of course. But they end up luring him to the very top to play or whatever with his toys.
Like play firefighter is what they're gonna
Yep.
do or something.
And then they put on these firefighter masks that we see later, because like in this town, like old firefighter masks, it almost looks like later on we'll get there too, but these masks almost look like the diver guy from Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Like, it's a whole fucking helmet almost.
It looks like a Big Daddy,
Yeah,
kinda.
but they put
from BioShock.
but the guy says they put this mask on to scare him.
I don't know.
And he tripped in that. I can't remember if he tripped over his own toy, but he tripped and fell off and died from the fire tower.
Yeah, they say he like fell and broke his neck.
Yeah.
And then like right after they say there was a massacre at the lumberyard.
Well, before that, when he falls, they don't want to get in trouble, so they put the fire mask that they wore to scare him on him to make it look like he was playing and fell by himself.
Yes, for sure.
And then they talk about the massacre.
And they talk about the massacre.
like 10 days later.
Yeah.
Like not very long after that.
And they say that somebody saw a guy in the woods
Watching, but they never were able to catch him.
watching, but they were never able to catch him. And then they talk about how it got covered up, and they said that it was poisonous meat or something, or like
Yeah.
Yeah, they covered it up by saying ate rancid meat and
died. And
Yeah.
then wild animals got in, and that's why their bodies got ripped apart.
Yeah.
That is what they say. Because like I said, they're in the middle of a forest. It's pretty shitty. But whatever. And then they also mention something that comes up later about 10 years after that and 10 years prior to this, I believe, park rangers get killed. They mention it because they talking about, oh, you want to hear another story, and then they say something about park rangers, which that comes up later too.
Yeah, but then that's when they say we're getting eaten by bugs. Let's go inside. We'll save that for another time.
And then they decide to take a selfie, and I knew what was going to happen.
Oh yeah, because I thought it was going to be something different later too, but it
Yeah.
didn't. But
They take a selfie together, and then you see the killer.
in the flash, which was cool, because like he's in the background the whole time, but you don't really notice him until they take their first picture with the flash. And when the flash goes off, you can see his face a lot more clearly. You're like, oh, he's fucking in the background there.
Very much a call to me. That reminded me of the shot from The Strangers.
Same, yeah,
The
with
shot
the
from The
back
Strangers.
face
Yep.
in the background.
Because that's one of my favorite shots in a movie ever.
Same.
Because you know
Because that got me when I was a kid. I was like, oh shit.
you could genuinely not notice him,
Yeah, exactly.
but whenever you finally do, it is so unsettling.
Like I can imagine someone
Yeah.
watching that movie like 10 times and then watching it for like their 12th time, being like, "Holy shit! How have I always seen that?"
Yeah, like have I always
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
overlooked him because he's just kind of there
Yeah.
and then he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about The Strangers another time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The good one, not this new one.
The first one's
Yeah.
the first one is one of my favorite horror movies.
Dylan and I literally watched the remake like a week before we started this podcast, so we weren't able to talk about that one. But that one wasn't great either. But the first one, one of my favorites of all time. It's what got me into
I'm
horror.
thinking about going to that tomorrow.
do it. It's not great, but do it. It's worth it.
Well, if it's in theater 10, beware. I got bit by a fucking bug.
Yeah, there were bugs in their fucking couch or something.
From the data.
Yeah,
the
the
chairs.
seat, man.
But I think it's funny because speaking of bugs, because they were talking about the bugs eating them up, and Dylan looks at me. He's like, "Why are you getting eat up by bugs if they're around a fucking fire?" And I'm like, "That's a good point."
Yeah, because fire keeps away mosquitoes.
Agreed. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know, because also like if it was me with my parents and stuff like that, like, we're not parents, but like I've learned from my parents, citronella candles. You got to have those when you go camping.
And like my dad's always taught
spray,
me
too.
to carry a bug spray. I
Yeah.
got 3 cans of bug spray
In your
in my truck for whenever we go to like
We
the
take
lawn
that shit to
section.
concerts, bro.
Yeah.
We're always we always go to lawn and we need them.
I always got bug spray.
We're all husky boys and we get eat up.
Well, because like I bought a new can, not
Delicious.
thinking that we used what we had last year. I opened the trunk. There's just 2 more fucking cans. I was like,
So,
great.
well, now I got 3.
Now I got 3.
But anyway, so they go inside.
They go inside, and then you cut back to being with the killer, and it's like an
Strictly with
over-the-shoulder
the killer,
view,
yeah.
like the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
time. And then he walks up and grabs.
Just think you're playing third person. Like just think you're playing Friday the 13th, the video game, but like it's not Friday the 13th. It's like a generic ripoff.
Think Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight.
The over.
I've never played that one, so
Me neither.
Played like once. And I just
that's fair.
I got some homies that really like that game though. So
Oh, yeah?
shouts out DBD.
Hell yeah.
For my
Dragon
boys.
Ball Z. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I said DBD.
I don't know what that
Dragon
means.
Ball D's
Dead by
nuts.
Daylight.
Oh,
So Dragon D's balls across your face. So you're as the killer again, and you see like a wall of, like stuff that you would have at a cabin, like saws and axes and pitchforks.
Yep.
Almost like farming equipment essentially.
Yeah. And this guy grabs a fucking hacksaw.
He grabs a hacksaw, and I didn't know what he grabbed at first.
Same. It looked like a crowbar at first, and then like at one point when he pulled it off the wall, I thought it was a golf club. But I'm like, I know it's not a golf club.
I
That's
thought
what it
he-
looked like.
I thought he pulled
Yeah.
a hook off the wall at
Oh,
first
okay.
because the way he was holding it.
No, he did that later.
Yes, I can't wait to get that.
But anyway, so it's a hack. He pulled off a hacksaw, which we find out later in this next kill what it was. But at first, he grabs something off the wall we don't know, and he just starts circling the outside of this house that they've gone into.
And you can see like people
Or
are
square,
talking.
I guess, because it's a square house.
Yeah. People are talking, and there's a lot of shots like that too, where he like circles shit and you just follow.
There's
him.
another one later where he does the same thing but with a purpose, and I
Yeah.
love that shot. And so he's walking around, he's listening to other conversations. Our final girl that we'll talk about later, and the boyfriend she has, is arguing about how they were being really mean to the kid who was telling the story. And then that's when we get this shot where we find out that his dad had like just, I think, committed suicide, they had said, or something. And like how like, because originally that's why I said it was a James, because it got me thinking when they were all like, oh, he's going through some stuff. I was like, oh, he's probably got like girl troubles or something, because he's got like this Walkman too
Yeah.
that he listens to, and he's like throwing his headphones on, smoking a blunt or whatever, and I'm like, that's a total James move. But then we find out,
But normally it'd be like a cigarette or something.
yeah, true.
You know?
But then we come to find out it's because his dad like committed suicide. I was like, okay, never mind.
They also allude to his uncle fucking him. too.
Yeah.
Like, that was weird.
I thought that was just a joke, but now that you say it, it could have actually
It
happened.
was like a weird like beat that they just
Yeah.
touch
Because
once.
I've had friends in the past, like not who have had that, but like where like they joke about things that actually happened to them. So like maybe there was some realism to it.
It's a way to cope.
Yeah,
a
maybe,
lot
so
of
maybe he
people.
was, because he's like, oh,
Yeah.
they don't. He's like, blah blah blah. That only happened after the fact, and I was like, oh shit.
So
But so they're talking about that. Then we circle this other girl who's just getting undressed, but there's no actual nudity.
well actually before we get to the girl that gets undressed, which that's still the final girl. That's the final girl again getting undressed.
Oh, okay. So I think that's later on. Then I think.
So yeah, because it circles to them on the back porch.
Yeah.
And Aaron, the guy, comes outside, and one of the girls, I can't remember her name,
Same.
she's sitting out there smoking, and they're like, what are you doing, blah, 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 and they start talking to each other, and he's like, I just gotta go take a shit, and she's like, you're gonna go meet those gas station girls, aren't you?
From like, cause I think they mentioned them briefly in the fire pit scene too.
Yeah.
Where they stopped. Where like I assume that's probably where they got their the scene that if this was any other horror movie, we would have got their like omen of like, oh, you're going up to that camp, huh,
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
But I guess we missed that. But I guess instead of that, they've met these gas station girls that I guess he wanted to go fuck around with. He's just like, no, I'm just gonna take a shit.
He's like, he's really like adamant about like, no, I'm just gonna go shit, guys, and honestly, like, it kind of, I think he was, like, I don't think he was going anywhere.
Well, I think he's just going to smoke his joint.
Yeah.
Because that's where he goes after this scene. But like I think he was just trying to play it off.
Because
to-
honestly, I just feel
to
like
get them to get off his ass.
yeah, like the poor, I think he's just like the guy who's the fucking brunt of the jokes
Yep,
and gets
and-
fucking.
Yep.
He needed some time to himself afterwards because
Yeah.
he's like, bro.
Hey, that shit's exhausting.
Because literally, this is
Yeah.
like the definition of friend groups. Because like these two are relentlessly on his ass about it.
And then she's like, "Oh, you want to help me pump my gas?
You gonna fill me up?
You gonna fill me up?" And that shit was hilarious, though. Fill me up, Aaron. Fill me up, Aaron.
And they say it like 10 times.
Oh
Fill
my
me
God.
up, Aaron.
That's so funny. And we cut back to the killer after that, and that's whenever you see the shot of the girl getting ready to get undressed.
Right.
They tease nudity twice.
Yeah, but
Don't
then
get
she
it.
just closes the blinds. So
She
if you were
closes-
home for that, sorry.
No boobs.
No high fives today.
None. Turn around. The killer turns around, and Aaron lights up his joint, and he's right there at Aaron. He sees him.
And then Aaron like turns a corner, and then that's when we go back to the POV of the killer, where he also goes to turn the corner as well, which is a really cool shot. I liked it as
And
well.
Aaron goes and leans up against a tree, enjoying his doobie, and then that killer fucking takes that hacksaw, and he shoves it in his goddamn mouth from the back.
Yeah.
And he just fucking, as much as he can, he doesn't even saw, bro.
Yeah, no,
he's
he's
pulling
pulling.
it, bro.
He's pulling, and then it
into
cuts to Aaron.
into his skull and tree.
And honestly,
Yeah.
before this, we had no real gore, because I didn't think we were gonna get any. And fuck me,
Same.
was I wrong?
Yeah,
Oh.
not even this kill. It only
But
gets worse from
He
here.
cuts his head off, and they do the head falls. It's like half his head, like it's from his
Like,
mouth.
yeah, from
up.
his mouth up. But then like it's crazy because like before his body falls, you can see his tongue wiggling.
Yeah.
that was
It was
that's
really
what-
cool.
Yeah, bro.
Like before we got the later gore, that's the gore where I was like, oh, you can see his tongue still wiggling. That's
dude.
crazy.
I was like, ah.
And then like after he kills him, he just kind of picks up like half of his
He
head.
picks him up by like the mouth hole.
Yeah.
He's just dragging his body and carrying his head.
Because it's the scene right after this that got me thinking about that. Because I was thinking about where he was. I was looking where he was grabbing. I was looking, he's just got the skull of the guy by the hair in the one
Yeah.
hand. But then when I saw where he was grabbing the body, I'm like, he's just got his hand like in his fucking
In-
hole that was his fucking jaw. And I was like, that's crazy. He's holding by the tongue. Like,
Dragging him
yeah,
down.
I'm surprised he didn't like rip it apart 2 or 3 times when he was like dragging on the
No,
ground.
he just held that shit up and kept going.
Yeah,
And then
I
he
was wondering, I was
goes.
like, where the fuck is he taking the body?
Yeah, I was wondering that too. And it's so he goes to the ranger station,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
closed because it's nighttime
Yeah.
at this point. And then he fucking.
And
So
who knows how long it took to just walk there?
That's true.
Like, because it was like maybe like 9 or 10 when they went inside. So, like, who knows how long it took to walk down the road to that fucking station? It could be like 12, 1, 2, 3. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. And he reads the sign that's like, in case of emergency, use the telephone. And then the
love
motherfucker
this
just
part.
shoves this head through the glass, and the head goes and plops into the floor.
Oh, that was crazy because I get plops like on the actual side of Headwood, and like it when he throws it in there, it hits the light perfectly. Where like you can kind of see his eye, like you can tell it's Aaron from the eye, from like the angle of the lighting, and it was crazy. I was like, that's a shot. I don't know if they tried to get that perfectly or what, or if that was just like the first throw and that's where it landed, but that was perfect.
Oh, I just wanted to say in my notes it says Aaron gets his head cut in half through the mouth.
Through the mouth.
Through the mouth.
That's
The
how you know-
mouth.
That's how you know it's fucking
With
serious.
4 F's. The mouth.
But that's what I love about this scene. He was just like if there was another character he had to kill in this moment, I think he just would have used Aaron's body. Because like he uses Aaron's body to smash in other things in there too, and like it's so comical because he's just using the body to like smash open all this shit. And
It's
I'm like,
so awesome.
I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
he's dead. Stop.
Because he's standing there, he gets into the ranger's station, and he's just standing there, and he's looking at his glass, and this is when you finally get to the firefighter helmet.
Right, where you can like see it in a glass case, where I guess it's like a
It's
kind
on
of like
display.
on display at the ranger station.
It's that, and then it's the hooks. I can't remember what they were called.
I think they're just for like getting into building.
Yeah,
They're 2 hooks, almost like nunchucks, but attached to a chain.
It's just like, I guess I think like pry hooks or something.
Yeah,
is what they
to
were-
pry off like wood and stuff, like for firefighters to get in. And
So
then there's a
there's-
hatchet.
There's pry hooks and then there's a hatchet, and this motherfucker. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, he's got notes.
Using the body to get weapons.
He chucks his
He, like,
body
chucks
into
his
the
body.
glass.
Takes this motherfucker's carcass. and we were the only people in the theater that fucking laughed at that, I
For
swear.
real. There was one guy, not like out of the whole movie, I think no one chuckled for us. There was one time that some other guy in the front chuckled at something else. Like this whole movie. Other than that, we were laughing. We were like throughout the movie, we were kind of laughing our asses off at
Oh,
certain
yeah.
points.
Because, dude, that shit was so... It was
was
just so
hilarious.
outrageous.
Because he's just like, he literally just like uses it like a battering ram into it. I was like, Jesus, dude.
And then he gets the weapons and he puts the firefighter helmet on. And in my notes at that point, I just put, "Killer firefighter."
You hit it on the nail, though. He does look like a Big Daddy. Like, that's exactly what it looks like. But with 2 eye holes instead of 1, if you've played Bioshock. But, so he gets his weapons, and then he just leaves the body.
He just leaves the body. And then he turns around and he walks back
to wherever he was, and then that's when we get the first... This was the first cut that was grating, just because it went from night to day really quick.
Yeah.
But, like, he just walks away. We do get this really cool shot where where after he gets his weapons, we go back out from an outside shot, and we just see him walk. Like, it's a shot that lingers for about a minute or so, and then we see his shadow walk across these windows and get to the front door again, and then it kind of cuts to the next daytime. But I like to see his shadow go across the windows. That was cool.
and then he's at the lake.
Yeah.
And you see the 2 of the girls. There's 3 girls in the friend group. There's our final girl, and there was 2 more. Literally just fodder.
Yeah.
And they're talking about like how I guess they've hooked up or they're trying to hook up or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, because the final girl walks away at that point. I think they're all 3 out there, but then they're left there because they said they wanted to do yoga.
Yeah.
And this was crazy. He's not close. He's across the lake, listening to them. And I thought that was crazy. And then we'll get to that in a second. But go ahead and keep talking about what you're saying about the women.
Oh, in my notes I wrote, "Please, please, please, egregious boobs."
Say.
Because I was really thinking we were going to get a skinny dipping scene, and we
Yeah.
did not. And not that we had to, but
Right.
I wanted to high five my boys. Because just so you guys know, every time there's boobs, we high five. It's really stupid and immature, but it's fucking funny.
To be fair, I'd do the same thing if there was a dick on screen. But like, not many movies are not scared to do that. So
Yeah. The only ones I can think of are like Jackass.
yeah,
Where
we're like,
someone's gonna have a schlong out.
yeah, but like you know what you're getting into with those.
Oh, absolutely.
So he's across the lake, just kind of watching them, and the one girl starts to. Cause they say they wanted to do yoga, and this one blonde girl super serious about it, but the other girl just kind of gets not naked, but she takes off her clothes, except for the.
Bathing suit.
Bathing
It looks like she has
suit,
a
yeah.
bathing suit on.
That's right.
Yeah.
So maybe that was her intention the whole time, but she jumps in, and then that's when they start talking about how she's like, oh, I thought we were gonna hook up or whatever. She's like, yeah, I was, but like I don't want to go swimming.
She was like, enough of this high school bullshit, blah, blah, blah.
yeah, if you want me, fucking
I'm gonna go do yoga, and you can.
on this cliff or something like that.
Yeah.
Overlooks a whatever.
And while this is happening, like you watch the guy, he walks into the lake
The shot.
and goes underwater. That was a cool shot.
That
was
was
real
crazy
cool.
because I was like, "Where's he going?" And then he like, I was kind of chuckling to myself, not like out loud, but I was like, "What the fuck is he doing?" And he just like slowly starts to sink into the water until he's gone under the water, and I'm like, "This motherfucker can just like walk." That's when I started realizing this guy is something else.
Yeah,
'Cause,
that's
like
when
he's
I-
literally just walking under the water.
This guy is Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, like Jason. was that part 5? Where he gets drowned, or was that part 6?
Part 6, he gets drowned.
Yeah.
The first time.
Yeah, the first time. Yeah.
Part 7, he also gets drowned.
Yeah, telekinetic teenager.
Part 8, he dies in the sewer.
Yeah.
Technically, Jason versus Freddy also gets drowned.
It's true.
Kind of.
Kind of.
True.
But so I thought that was crazy.
Rey Mysterio's in that movie.
I didn't know that actually.
It's the scene where like Freddy's jumping around in the boiler room. It's Rey Mysterio.
That's awesome.
So then the girl walks away, the blonde girl walks away and goes and does her yoga.
Oh, the scene was good too.
And then you just kind of, it just kind of pans on,
Her swimming for
Her
like a
swimming.
good maybe minute or two,
and then all of a sudden she gets pulled down.
Yeah.
and all you hear is like a yeah, and then like then like it's almost like half a scream because you only hear like the first half before she's dragged underwater.
Yep.
Which
And
I thought was really like unsettling.
And I think you see bubbles, or she pops up, or maybe both.
Mixture of both, because she gets out like another like half screen.
Yeah, she like pops
Yeah,
up,
she
does
goes
the
back
half
under.
screen,
And then her body comes up, and I wrote,
and then that's when we get another shot from the other side of the lake, and then that's when her body floats up. Yeah.
I just wrote drowning.
So I remember that shot from the trailer of the body just popping up from the water. I remember
It's
that.
so icy, wonder why she like me. Bitch, I'm drowning. Shout out at
Brownie.
And then, so they do that really cool shot, and she's dead. And then homie comes out of the water. Oh, I also forgot to mention that he sets his axe down. He just has his hooks at this
Yeah,
point.
because I thought we were going to get, like, he just grabs it later. Spoiler alert for later. But he just grabs it later, but I thought that was going to come in handy. I thought it was strategic in a way. Like, I'm going to put this here. These guys are going to run later, and I'm going to have a hatchet. But he didn't. He just goes and gets it later. So I thought it was gonna be like a Chekhov's hatchet, but it wasn't. He just gets it later for random reasons.
And
But-
so we had this cool scene of that, and then we immediately cut to another fucking walking simulator.
yeah.
Because we tracked this dude going up this hill to the lookout.
Mm-hmm.
But then this is the best scene of the motherfucking movie.
Best scene, best kill. Fuck, dude.
Best fucking like scenery,
Yeah.
honestly, with like
Yeah.
the overlook.
And my favorite far away shot. The first one it was like an honorable mention. It's that pool one. But then after this next kill, they do this a lot in the movie where there's a lot of far away shots of things happening, and this is
Yeah.
my favorite one coming up.
So this dude is walking up on her, and he steps on a twig, and she
Yeah.
turns around.
Cause she's like, oh, you see, I was wondering how long it was gonna take you to get here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns
Yeah,
around
it's the girl.
and seizes that dude, and she screams, and she tries to run, and there's an overlook, so she can't go anywhere. And this motherfucker just takes that hook and shoves it straight fucking through her.
Through her, like, cause she,
Through her stuff.
I think she realizes she's fucked when she's like, and then she looks back one more time at the killer, and then I think she just kind of looks at the lake as like one last like, well, I guess this is it, and then he rams that fucking hook through her back, out her stomach, and then she's not even dead yet.
Yoga girl die. Hook through body. And then, doesn't he pull that fucking thing out of her?
No, he used the other end of the hook, which is also another hook.
Yeah,
And just shoves it.
because she turns around, it's like, cause she's still alive after she gets the hook shoved through. She turns around, and then he takes the other end of the hook, stabs it into her fucking head.
Right in her motherfucking head.
And then she grabs from where the other hook was and pulls the chain so her oh god, this is so gruesome.
He pulls her head through her body.
through the body hole he just made, and like as her head's bending down, you can see the fucking spine starting to kind of shoot up from the back of this. Oh, that was
dude,
that
it was
that
fucking
that was giving me
wicked.
chills for
It
a
was
second.
crazy.
It
And
was
then he keeps
wild.
pulling, and he literally shoves her fucking head back through the body hole.
Yeah, like snaps her spine, head through body. It's probably one of the craziest kills I've ever seen.
Same.
Like,
Like,
man-
he literally made her a fucking pretzel.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
nuts. He does that, and then it cuts to like this beautiful scenery.
Yep, this is my favorite far away shot where it's like you can see the bank of the incline going towards the lake, and he just fucking kicks her body, and we watch from far away her body roll all the way down the hill into the water, and I was like, genius.
Yeah, that's whenever I wrote, I love the scenery. Because right after that, he turns around, he's walking through the forest again. We go back to another,
and like the sun's kind of setting.
Walking
That was one
simulator.
of my favorite ones. Where
and the
like
sun's setting.
The sun's setting, and it's so pretty as he's walking towards the sunset.
And
It's
it's-
really pretty.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like,
But like I remember before that, as soon as he pulls it all the way through her body hole, I look at Dylan and just go, "Now that's fucking art."
Yeah, that had me cracking up
That
when you
was
said that's art. I just started laughing.
Holy shit, that was crazy. Cause like I even love like he's making struggling sounds too as he's trying to pull. He like as he's pulling, he puts his leg on her back to try and get some more leverage to pull
Yeah.
that head through. Like he is struggling, but he does it, and goddamn, it's fucking wild.
next level gore.
Yeah.
Literally, that's why I was like. There's this other podcast I listen to where they talk about like they always give it a gore score, and I was like, that's gonna be like max, because that was that. I think that was the most insane kill I've ever
Oh,
seen.
It
That's
was up there for me.
Yeah.
wild.
For a non-Saw movie.
yeah.
it's up
Oh
there.
my god. might be the most brutal slasher kill I've ever seen. That's for
Definitely.
sure. Like, good
by
lord.
far.
This is whenever they go to the panning shot of him walking. This is whenever the walking simulator aspect started to grow on me
Same.
because I really appreciated like the beautiful scenery
Yeah.
with the slasher and the ominous footsteps, because that's like all you hear
Right.
is him walking and how
Which I do love the use of that because they play with you a couple times later on in the movie where like you think you hear him walking, but I think it's just made to make you feel uneasy
Yeah.
because the sound of his footsteps do sound very menacing.
He's just standing there.
this is whenever he
Menacingly.
walks up on the cabin.
Just walking there menacingly. 'Cause
Yeah.
This guy does not stop unless he's killing something.
Yeah,
He
for
walks
real.
up on the cabin, and you hear people arguing, like, "Oh, we haven't seen Aaron, or we haven't seen the girls," and they're like, "Oh, well, the girls are probably just fucking in the woods, and Aaron's with those gas station girls. Like, who
Yeah.
cares?" And it's that Troy guy,
Yep.
or no, maybe it's not Troy, but it's the boyfriend of the final girl,
Mhm.
and he's like immediately set up to be a fucking prick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like just an asshole, whatever.
And then he tries to redeem himself later, which is funny. But then he gets fucked up. He's an asshole, but he tries to redeem himself
He's
later.
an asshole.
But yeah, so they're arguing, and then he's like, "Nothing's fucking wrong," and he's like, and she's like, "Fine, you want to drive away?" And he takes the keys and tosses them into the woods. He's like, "Fuck you! I'm tossing these keys in the woods," and they literally land right in front of the killer.
Yeah, and it has like a little toy car on it. He sees it, and then he sits down on the ground and takes his helmet off.
Yeah,
And then he just plays with the car. And then, like, I don't know if they said something to trigger him or not, but then he just crushes it.
That's when because that scene for sure was when I was like, this motherfucker's hands are beefy. Because it's like a die-cast car. Those things are metal. Like the frame of those are metal. I was like, those are beefy fucking hands. Goddamn. But but this scene was really sad when he's playing with the car too. Because like, you know, we get the backstory earlier about how he's playing with toys, and then he just gets his toy car on the keys and starts playing with it on his hand, rolling it on his leg like he's a little 10-year-old. And I was like, that's kind of sad. Like,
Yeah, it reminds you that he was just a little kid.
yeah, like
Yeah.
fuck.
Or he is just a little kid, really.
Yeah.
And then when he crushes the car later because they like trigger him, he's like, I was like, that's crazy.
It's because they find the axe, because he set his axe down.
Yeah.
And they're like, look at this. You know, like, we found this.
Like
blah,
crazy
blah.
shit, like this all around here. We gotta,
Skidoodle.
yeah.
So then he gets up, puts his mask back on. You hear something drive away, and you hear the dude say, like, goodbye, lovebirds, or some bullshit.
Yeah, like, fuck you, I'm out.
For
'Cause
their
they have,
arguing. Because they have, like, a four-wheeler,
An
too.
ATV, yeah.
And they're like, we're going to go to the ranger station. It's close, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, like,
Yep.
the body was there, so they're about to find some shit.
Oh, yeah.
So they drive away, and then you hear, like, somebody go inside, and he goes and grabs the axe. And this is whenever he does his walking around the cabin again with
Yeah.
purpose.
Because he grabs this stick. Now that they're gone, they're both in the house. He grabs this stick from a pile.
We missed something important.
Oh shit! What?
Campfire scene. You see one of the guys, the girlfriend's, or the final girl's boyfriend or fiance.
I don't think that was in. Was that in that scene?
Yeah.
I thought when we saw that scene later, that was a scene that we hadn't seen yet.
No, it shows him
okay.
pull out the locket.
I couldn't remember. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't mention that at all. He has the pendant the whole time.
It was the Logan guy or the boyfriend of the final girl.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that comes important later of where the locket was. Yeah, we see him put it in his pocket during the campfire scene. And so anyway, back to that.
So that's why he has a purpose now.
Yeah,
Because he knows these motherfuckers have
he
it.
knows who has it. And he grabs this stick, wedges it in between the seat and the horn of their car, and like you know, it's a perpetual horn now. He's like, "Arr," but it's like going for like a minute or two.
And he just to draw them out.
Just to draw them out, and as he's drawing them out, he like purposefully walks around the entire house, and we follow him this entire time, walking around the whole house just to give them time to come out to the car.
Did you notice though that in the mirror the guy sees him?
No,
Like when he's walking around the cabin, the guy that comes out with the gun sees him.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah,
Sees him in the
I
window.
saw
Sees
him
him in
through
the
the
window.
window, but I didn't know if he could see.
I'm pretty sure he's looking like right out the
killer.
window and looks
Okay.
at him.
I
Yeah.
couldn't tell.
Because like right whenever he sees him, that other guy has gone outside to get the horn.
Yeah.
Because he thinks it's the people that left, like the final
Fucking
girl
with
and
him,
the other
yeah.
guy, and he's like, "What the fuck, you motherfuckers!" Blah blah blah. And then he turns around. Well, no, he doesn't really turn around, but he hears the killer walking up on him.
That I remember in that scene I was like looking, I kept like gesturing to the screen. I'm like, how the fuck are you not hearing that? Like, I know the horn, but even when he takes the thing off the horn, this guy's footsteps are fucking menacing. Like, you can hear a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
How can you not hear this motherfucker coming at you? And he turns around right before he gets like chopped out with the hatchet. And I'm just like, how are you only just now turning around?
Hits him like right in the thigh.
Yeah.
Well, at first they struggle a little bit. He
Oh, that's right. He kind of parries him almost.
Yeah.
He uses the piece of wood he grabbed from the car, like kind of parries him. It was kind of interesting.
But then he gets his leg, and right before he's going to kill him, the buddy comes out and shoots him.
Yep.
Shoots him, and he falls down. And he's like, "Oh, I got him. We gotta go." And they're like, "We gotta go down the deer trail. We can get to the road from here or whatever." Because they don't have the key to the car anymore.
Yeah, because dickhead chucked it.
Chucked
Yep.
it, and then the killer has it. Or at least, maybe he doesn't have it, but like they don't know where it
But after he
is.
crushes it, he just kind of just drops him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they never find him because he was hiding behind that tree. So they start trying to get away, and then as they're walking away in the foreground,
You start to see
him
the
kind of get back up.
the killer starts breathing
Yep.
again, and then he gets up, nonchalantly grabs the axe,
And fucking chucks it at the guy who didn't get hatcheted.
and it's cool because it's off screen.
Yeah,
Like, he chucks it off
because we
screen.
go to an overhead shot of him walking.
Yeah.
Which I'm if you guys don't know this, you know, later on for sure, but I am a sucker for an overhead shot. So like I definitely loved how we just instantly go to his overhead shot. He grabs the hatchet, tosses it. We don't see where it goes, but we assume
You hear it hit though, and you start hearing
it sounds like
the
a
other guy
fucking
scream.
It sounds like a fucking Call of Duty hit marker. It's,
Yeah.
like, you hear Like, oh well, he got something. I don't know who he got.
And then you hear the other guy screaming some more, like, "Oh, we gotta go! We gotta get out! Oh my god!" And then he's like, "Help me!"
And then as he slowly starts to catch up to them, we see as he walks up, the guy who had the gun was the one who got the hatchet in the head.
He
walks past him.
Dude.
The other guy's crawling. He grabs a fucking rock.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. This one was a really good gore one too, because like we've seen plenty of this in other horror movies, how they do kills like this, and just to watch it was crazy.
He just picks up that rock and just drops it on his fucking head. And it just watermelons.
It was like, it was what an explosion of a head.
Smashes dude's head with rock. Watermelon. Because that's what it looked like.
That's exactly.
It literally looked like someone crushed a watermelon.
It was like a fucking Gallagher show.
It was
for real.
It was awesome. And then he starts searching the guy for the pendant.
Because this is when we get the flashback scene that I thought was just the scene. I didn't think we got this scene earlier because I couldn't remember it. But like it flashes back to let the audience, I think, more so know that this is the guy that put the locket in his pocket when they were talking. So this is the guy who originally grabbed it too. And then so we know that, so he starts searching it, but he can't find it. He's like, "Oh, where's it at?" He can't find it.
Yeah, he keeps fiddling around in that dude's pockets.
Yeah, and then this is when they come back on the 4x4.
Yeah.
But I can't remember why they came back. I don't know if they specify why they came back on the 4x4.
Oh, because they were going to warn the other two dudes, "Hey, we got to get the fuck out of here. We just saw Arthur's body." Or
that's
Aaron's
right.
body.
Yeah, because they come back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they come back, and then that's when we get a flash of the locket in the sun. Because she's over the one guy's dead body, like, "Oh my god, what happened to you?"
No, she's looking at the blood spot from where he got cut. Because she goes, "I think it's blood."
Oh, okay, my bad.
And
but anyway, she's on the ground, and then we see the locket kind of in the sun, and he's like, "Oh, okay, there's my locket. She's the bitch I need to kill."
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Then the dude's like, "Oh my god, get up, watch out!" Because he tries to throw the axe at her and misses her.
Yeah, because he warned her just in time for her to kind of back away and not get bashed. It just lands on the ground.
And then they hop on the 4-wheeler.
And get the fuck out.
Get the fuck
at the
out of
last
there.
second, yeah.
And they skedoodle on out of there.
And then he picks up the hatchet and bam, back to Walking Simulator.
Back to Walking Simulator again. Then they walk to the ranger station.
We get another cut. We get another cut from overcast day to a nighttime scene.
And they're at the ranger station, and that's when they meet Ranger
Rick.
And then he's walking up, and they're talking about how, like, where'd you get that pendant? He starts yelling at the girl.
Yeah, and she's like, she's not understanding for it. He's like, "Where'd you get it?"
And then I wrote, "Mother's necklace holds Johnny's soul at rest."
Yeah, that's exactly. That's literally what the ranger says. He's like, "You don't know what you've done."
Yep. And she's like, "Well, we'll just return it." And he's like, "It doesn't matter what you do.
That's not how that works.
You got to put him back or whatever."
Yeah.
Then after that, they see him.
They see like he's not trying to hide it. He's just like, "I'm coming to get you."
And I wrote, "Run, run, run."
And they don't.
Oh, yeah. No.
And they don't.
But
They
Ranger
don't.
Rick shotguns him, and he falls to the ground.
And then like they're like, "Oh, did you kill him?" And he's like, "No, this
Bullets only slow him down," were his exact words.
Yeah, like,
Which is a cool, like, nice horror movie trope that I like
this is
too.
a temporary
Oh,
solution.
and then also this is whenever they mention that the park ranger's father survived the original attack.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
So-
then he came back 10 years later
To kill the park rangers, which is what they alluded to.
Yep.
And the park ranger was there for that, and he survived that attack.
So then this time he's like, "I'm gonna do what my dad did before and put this motherfucker back in
Put
the
this
grave."
motherfucker back in the ground.
And he says permanently. So I don't know if maybe he has a solution he doesn't know about, but spoiler alert, we're not gonna find out what that is.
Yeah, no. Dude.
That guy's kill scares me more than anything.
So
we'll get there.
he shoots him, puts him down. There's like, "Go get chains,"
Yep.
and then
It takes too fucking long.
they take too long, and gets back up.
He's like tie his legs up, and this guy's like kind of being a pussy now. He's like, "I can't, I'm freaking out." So he's like, "All right, I'm gonna pass you the shotgun on 3, and then I guess he was gonna go tie up the chains, but on 3 he goes to pass the shotgun, and that's when Johnny wakes back up and grabs the shotgun, and they start wrestling.
Yeah.
He starts wrestling Ranger
And he's
Rick.
like, "Run!
"Run, get
out
out
of here!"
Yeah.
And then he fucking like, what does he do? He like breaks his neck.
Yeah,
Or,
like,
or he grabs like somewhere like the neck,
yeah,
spine,
to
or,
like
the shoulder,
to paralyze him.
Because I wrote,
because he wasn't dead.
No, he was still breathing. Yeah.
"Park ranger did not survive this attack." And then I said, "Well, maybe he does."
Because
Because he's blinking.
this guy uses his fucking sausage finger hands to like grab the back because he's trying to get to the shotgun because the shotgun was pushed away. He's like crawling to the shotgun, and the killer just grabs his fucking spine by his neck and like squeezes it to like paralyze him. And he's just like, and like he's like you can tell he's not dead, but he's very much not gonna move anymore.
Yeah.
And then
Because he's like blinking and breathing and shit still.
yeah.
And then whenever
The killer turns him over on his back, and like you can tell this. I think the big thing you can tell he's paralyzed. His eyes move, but like they're stuck in like a sideways position. Like
Yeah, but he's like blinking and shit.
yeah.
Whenever he went to go turn on that machine, I initially thought it was going to be a wood chipper.
I thought it was going to be a chainsaw.
I thought it was going to be a meat grinder.
I thought it was going to be a wood chipper after chainsaw because when he came out with nothing in his hands, I'm like, so it's not a chainsaw. And then he takes the hook, sticks it in his shoulder, and starts dragging him. And that's when I was like, oh, there must be a wood chipper in there. And then we get to this machine that's not a wood chipper, and it's like this log splitter where like it's just this blade on a track that goes down slowly to split logs in half.
Yeah, and they do an example and they show like the log getting broken because there's like a log on it.
When all they really needed was Captain America to come in there and just like he does in Avengers.
So I wrote, well, maybe he does, and then I put spine fucked. And then whenever he grabs him and starts dragging him to that woodshed, I go, oh no, he definitely dead. He's going through a fucking grinder and he's paralyzed, so he can't do anything about it. And then I said, oh wait, not a grinder, log saw.
Yeah. And he does a few test chops. He does one test chop with a piece of wood, and then he does another test chop with the guy's arm. And the crazy part about this is like now that we know he's like paralyzed from whatever it is, he doesn't react. Like we're just watching this killer do it because he enjoys watching it happen. He's not getting like any satisfaction from this guy's reaction because this guy can't feel it. Like so that's how you know this guy's like truly just like killing because he can.
Yep.
Because he chops off his fucking arm. It's like, oh yeah, cool. Well, I chopped his arm off. Now let's do his head.
I really thought they were going to take the time to disassemble this dude completely.
Same. Because with all these slow shots we were having, that's exactly what I thought too.
But I really think at this point in the movie they realized, like, damn, we're running long.
Yeah.
Or we're going to run long if we keep doing this.
Yeah.
Because it kind of, after this.
Because like I said, it's the log, his arm, and then he goes for his head, and then he's done.
And he chops his head off and he's done.
Yep.
And then
The head took a minute too to get through that fucking vertebrae. Because I was waiting for the second when the head falls off, and I was like, and then it was like you could tell the machine was wheezing. It was like, and then it finally gets through the vertebrae, and I'm like, oh nope, there goes the head.
there goes the head.
There goes my head.
And then
There goes my head from watching these kills. Ah!
Oh.
And then they're gonna cut me. Ah!
I mean, torque.
And then Pan's
Walking simulator.
yeah, back to the woods, and then he's kind of just standing there, and like you hear whatever that dude's name, Troy, I think.
I think this is where I finally just accepted he had super.
Well, they run past.
Like they're whispering, but like they sound like they're right fucking next to him.
Oh, yeah.
They run past. You see him run and like hide, and you see him
Yeah.
run and hide. I think, or maybe it's from behind him that you see it.
Because we see the girl hide behind the trees, and they're together, I think. But then we don't see him when he goes to make a distraction. I don't think we see him until he pops up right behind him and says, "Hey, ugly motherfucker."
This is when I decided he definitely has super hearing.
Yeah,
Because you got it. You know they're whispering, but he can hear him just fine. And
like
he's
it's like we hear it as a whisper, but like you can tell they cranked the volume up on the whisper for us to know this guy can just fucking hear that shit plain as day.
and the dude's like, I'll distract him, and you go run and set up the trap.
Yeah, like dude, come on,
And
buddy.
it's so stupid.
Yeah.
Pops up right behind the guy.
And he goes, "Hey, you ugly motherfucker!" And then he just gets
Immediately gets fucking.
Dude.
immediately gets fucked.
Brother, his fucking head. Oh, he just keeps going.
Just
The first chop kills this guy. He's like, "Hey, you ugly motherfucker!" And bam, he gets chopped. And we're like, "Okay, cool, he's dead." No, this motherfucker just keeps going.
hitting it, and it's really just that Simpsons meme where he's like, "Stop! He's already dead."
It's just chop after chop, man. It's crazy because I really, if one thing when I rewatch this movie, I am gonna count the chops because then we at some point we pan to the girlfriend for a second. Or like we do. It's the next scene. We'll get to it. But when we pan to that girlfriend, you can still hear the chops. Like we don't see him chopping anymore, but you hear those chops.
Yeah, it's like
and
part
he
of
has
the
not
background.
stopped.
So it pans to her, and she's kind of watching him.
the look in her eyes is the look I think we would all have. She was just like,
Horrified.
this motherfucker's not stopping.
That motherfucker's not joking.
He was not.
Kept going.
So she's just like, fuck it. And leaves the gas, because she has a gas tank. I guess that's part of the trap.
I think they were gonna like set him on fire at the thing. Maybe pull a Deadpool where they just like stake him down to the ground, let the thing burn. I don't know, like with that pipe. But I was like, I guess they're gonna set him on fire or something. She puts that down, sets the locket on it, and just backs away slowly, still hearing chopping in the background, and then she runs the fuck away.
And then they do like a weird time lapse thing where she's like walking in the woods, and
This
she
was
can
a good
still
shot,
hear
yeah.
it. She can still hear it, and I don't know if he's still chopping or if she's just like PTSD kind of
Same.
thing, and like
Because this whole thing while she's running through the woods, you can also still hear his footsteps.
yeah.
Like this is where I was talking about, like where like I love the sound of his footsteps because like they play with you here, where like we hear her running and screaming, she's like and then you still hear the footsteps, thinking that maybe she's right behind her. Because this whole thing with the camera was crazy too, where like it's never a first person perspective like you're playing Call of Duty. But, like, with the camera sometimes, it makes you think that we're still watching the killer from a first-person perspective. Because, like, as we're chasing him and we're hearing these footsteps, I'm like, are we with the camera? Is he, like, slightly off-camera chasing her? Because you can still hear the footsteps. But then it's just, like, I think they're trying to show her PTSD of, like, just trying to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, and then she gets her leg caught on like a twig or like
that looked
like
painful,
a
too.
stick
Fuck,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good, like, clean through and through, too.
Well, because
She
like
just
at first,
pulls it out.
I thought she got caught in a bear trap.
Oh,
first.
fuck, I didn't even think about that. Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what they were trying to get you to think, too.
Yeah.
Because while she's running, I kept thinking she was going to run into the trees with the pink markers on them, but she just never did.
Yeah.
I think because it kind of does a good job of showing that like you can tell she's fucking lost. She doesn't know where she's at.
Yeah.
She's like actually lost in the woods.
Well, it's nighttime again, and it's
yeah,
dark.
and she doesn't know where the fuck
She
she's
doesn't
at.
really know where she's at.
Yeah.
Then she gets that thing caught in her leg, and she pulls it out and starts limping. And then that's when we kind of have another time jump to her in the morning, like kind of finding her way to the main road.
Yep. She finds the main road, and then honestly, the movie starts to lose me at this point.
Same, because
it kinda goes
the
off
ending of this
too.
movie until the very last shot was like but then it kind of gets you at the last little bit. Did you take any notes around this part?
No.
Oh, no.
I stopped taking notes.
No, because
'Cause-
like she
'cause it
hobbles
needs to just
to
lose
the
it,
road,
yeah.
and then a truck comes up,
Yep.
and then she waves it down, and then it's just like a lady,
Yep.
and then she gets her in the truck, and they drive, and then
And then I
she
want
keeps
to.
talking to her, and she's like, "Hey, you gotta fucking respond when I talk to you, so I know you're still with me."
Yeah, because she's like fucking. You can tell she's
In and out.
she's been walking all fucking night. She's exhausted. She's got that leg wound that's fucking bleeding out.
Yeah, and then she pulls over. She's like, "Hey," she's like, "No, what are you doing? We can't stop." And she's like, "Hey, no, I gotta stop this bleeding, so you're not gonna die on me."
She has that whole monologue too. Before
Yeah,
that.
something about her brother getting mauled by a bear. That was probably just
And
the
that-
killer guy.
Yeah, dude,
That's what I was trying to figure out too. Is like, is she talking about the killer? Because this guy who she claims is her brother never actually sees whatever attacks him.
It was a monologue that reminded me of the end of Pearl, where she
God,
just keeps
yeah.
fucking rambling, and it's
Yeah.
very
I
like
thought
kind
about
of
that too.
kind
I
of
didn't even
Adult
make the connection, but
Swimish.
you're right. Yeah.
Like it's almost like Adult Swimish to the point where you're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right. Like, what does this have to do with the fucking movie?
Yeah.
I think really all it comes down to is she talks about. She ends up bringing up like the animals in the woods and
Yeah.
how sometimes they'll just kill.
And like,
And I think that's what she's getting at with the killer.
yeah, it's like he just does it because he can. Kind of like a Jason Voorhees, or like he just, or almost like a Michael Myers, where like he just kills because he can kill.
And then
No one knows why he does it. He just does it.
and while she's telling this long ass fucking monologue, the girl falls asleep.
Yep.
And then she notices how bad she's bleeding.
Yep. And she's like, I gotta pull over.
And that's when she stops her to do the tourniquet. And the whole time she's doing the tourniquet, the girl's like, "No, stop." And you're kind of thinking like maybe the killer will show up because
Yeah.
she's looking off into the woods, but nothing's happening.
Because I think that's the point of the long story she's telling in the truck, is to kind of make you feel that like they're getting away from where the killer was for this long time.
Well, they're driving.
Yeah.
They're fucking going, dude.
So like, I think that's to build suspense of like, do you really think this killer can follow them that far for that long, that quick? I think it's meant to make you think like, could he come? Is he gonna be there? We don't know.
Yeah, 'cause he was a slow fucking walker.
Yeah, from all these fucking POV walking simulator shots we had for sure. But so they stop and she's like tourniqueting her leg to tie it up. And this is where the movie kind of gets me back, where like she's just looking out. This is like the last long tracking shot where we're just in her point of view seeing while she's doing her legs, we're just seeing the trees rustle in the wind.
Yeah.
And we're meant to believe maybe the killer's going to pop out. And I kept searching the frame for, like, the whole long time it was there. Like, where's the killer? He's got to be somewhere. And, like, we never see the killer again. And then we cut to the gas can where the locket was, where she set it down at. It's like this pan shot that pans to the gas can, but then the locket's gone. So I guess maybe he was able to get the locket. And you either end up in two camps at the end of the movie. If he got the locket and he's back at peace, or he grabbed the locket and he's never going to stop chasing this girl. And, like, she's always going to live like the snail that, like, will kill you if he catches you. Like, he's going to keep going until he finds her and kills her.
Forever.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the movie.
And that's
the end of the movie.
Baby.
And that movie has officially been juiced.
Juiced.
And that's the juice.
Juiced the movie.
But really, like, well, alright, Dylan, you go first. Out of 10, what would you give it?
With the ending, I'd probably give it a 6, 6.5 maybe.
Yeah, we weren't hot in this theater, so that was a good first step.
It was slow in the beginning, and then it picks up. The middle is just full of fun, action and gore.
Good kills for sure.
Good kills. That was really exciting, and then the ending is just it ends on a dud.
The ending's a drag until the very last shot.
Yeah.
Because if they were, for sure.
Would I rewatch it? Absolutely.
Same. Just to count those
it has
act
a
swings.
high rewatch.
Yeah.
But like I would, out of 10, I don't think I'd go any higher than a 7.
That's fair.
So I think 6.5 is probably perfect.
Alright,
Yeah.
Kyle, what about you?
Well, first thing I want to say is when it comes to that is like it literally had me until that last little bit in the car, but then it kind of swings me back for sure at the end where they kind of leave it ambiguous of like, is this guy gonna keep coming after her, and like because it does a similar thing with The Strangers Part 2 where like it lingers on the girl realizing like she's gonna have this trauma for the rest of her life regardless of if the killer's still out there or not. Like she's never gonna look at like an empty hallway or an empty house the same again. Like she'll always have this doubt that guy's still coming after
She'll
her.
probably never go camping ever again.
And if it just wasn't for that scene before that where we linger a little too much on other stuff, I'd say I could probably give it about an 8. But with that being said, I'd probably say 7 too, honestly. Like, because what this movie gets right, it really gets right. So I definitely want to highlight that with a strong number. But it just loses a lot of points for that last little bit at the end. So I'd probably say a 7 is a good strong number. You?
5.
Really?
Lost the plot for me too much.
Damn, I thought you were higher on it. Interesting.
Walking simulator, ending scene.
See, I think I got over the walking simulator part towards the
I
end.
tried to, and I did at one point, but then they just continued.
But then that
to
truck
do it.
scene, I get it.
They
Man.
beat it to death. They beat it to death with me on the lingering shots. Like, some of them were cool, and I did praise some of them.
Yeah.
But, like, the beginning with how slow it started.
Would you say it just didn't do enough when it came to like if they would have added some other like maybe like Easter eggs or details
Yeah,
in,
man.
like the walking shots, maybe it'd be a little higher.
Because it's like, it's trying to be artsy-fartsy, you know, but then it just gives me fucking fodder for characters.
Yep.
It doesn't really give me any kind of... I mean, the only plot is the killer himself, which is fine. Like, that's what we're here for.
Like,
But if you're going to give me just shitty characters to care about, give me more. Give me more kills.
Without the gratuitous walking simulator, what length do you think this movie would have ended at? Because
Like, how long would it have been?
Yeah, let me
it
look
was
at
only an hour and 35.
Okay, yeah, so like
It would have been 65 minutes.
gotcha.
Maybe 70.
So I've already said 7, but like for the most part, that would definitely dock a point or 2 if I could think about it. So I see where you're coming at with this 5 for sure.
And I want to add on another thing that what you're saying, like there with the premise they were going with like kind of like a hardcore Henry thing,
Yeah.
where like you're in the point of view of the killer.
Mm-hmm.
They had a great idea. I think they could have done more
I 100%.
yeah,
agree.
man, me
than
too.
what they did.
Like it's a good concept, but it's a good first draft. But after maybe this would have been one of those movies that if it had a higher budget, maybe do some reshoots.
Yeah. Well, I
Like-
definitely think they were going for a quality over quantity thing.
Like-
for sure.
But with that being said, though, why do I not care about these characters at all? I
I
can't remember
think-
their fucking names.
I think that's the point, though.
I think somebody will make another movie like this, but do it
Without
a
all the
lot
flaws.
better, and then we'll probably watch that movie, review it, and then we'll come back to this one and be like, a violent nature walked so this movie could run.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
this is gonna be
Yeah.
the blueprint for something else.
Yeah.
Because it almost invents a new genre because it's kind of a slasher, kind of a artsy horror movie into one, And if they were to just figure out how to make it mesh a little better, I feel like it could be a perfect movie. I agree.
All right, so Dylan with a 6,
Six.
Kyle with a 7, and myself with a 5.
Yeah.
Any last minute things you guys want to add on about this movie, or you guys ready to wrap this up?
I think we juiced it pretty well.
We juiced
I
it
feel like
pretty
we
well.
juiced the shit out of this movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well,
Yeah, and we'll-
Our next episode will be probably like a little amalgamation of movies that we kind of watched on our own free time. Maybe talk about some video games or stuff we played too. Because the next couple new movies that come out, we all three can't see together, but we'll probably still try and talk about them when they come out. It just probably won't be all three of us talking about them.
yeah.
But our next episode will definitely be just some stuff we've watched in our own personal time.
and with that, I've been Dylan.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm James.
And one last time, this has been The Juice.